Good morning. I'm meteorologist Kevin Smith here again at the National Weather Service office in Pocatello with your Southeast Idaho weather hazard and planning briefing for Tuesday, April 6th, 2021. Okay, we have a whole series of storm systems on the way, and in general, not looking at doom and gloom. These are not going to be terribly destructive storm systems for our region, but certainly an active pattern across the northern Rockies here over the next 7 days or so, and a couple hazards we'll touch on here looking at each of these storm systems. So storm number one, you're waking up to it this morning. This has been going on since yesterday. Snow widespread across portions of the forecast area this morning, expecting that to wind down in the Snake Plain by late this morning, and then remaining snow showers, maybe a few rain showers ending east of I-15 over toward the Wyoming border by mid-afternoon today. Watch out for some slick conditions. I'll talk about that in a little more detail here in just a moment. But certainly for the morning commute, just be aware of the snowfall and potential for some late winter slick spots out there on the highways. Storm number two. We have another system on the way that's going to brush lightly across the northern Rockies during the day on Thursday. Few light, low-impact rain and snow showers are looking likely for some of our mountains, particularly the central mountain region, up into the upper Snake Highlands, maybe over toward Driggs. But the bigger deal will be the wind. We're expecting pretty windy conditions region-wide across southeast Idaho Thursday afternoon and evening. Finally, a third storm in this train on the way, very similar looking to storm number two, coming in for Saturday with maybe a few more rain and snow showers and more wind for the region. You can see looking at confidence levels here, our lowest confidence is how the details are playing out this morning. We're kind of staring right into the whites of its eyes here for storm number one, and still lots of moving parts and really marginal temperatures to contend with this morning in terms of trying to nail down those impacts. A little bit higher confidence for how storm number two and storm number three will play out. Satellite is looking a little glitchy this morning, and I apologize for that, but the general picture here, we have today's low pressure system for storm number one sitting right along the Idaho-Utah border. And as this reloads here, you can see moisture and cloud cover swirling around that. We're actually kind of on the backside now of this low with the precipitation and snowfall we're seeing this morning. Our next system loading up here near Alaska, coming in for Thursday. Storms are easy to spot here looking at our matrix over the next 5 days. We've got lingering impacts today with some of that snowfall, again, ending during the morning for most of the Snake Plain to the South Hills, a little bit later in the day further east. And then Thursday and Saturday, completely identical here as we break this down by area. Windy conditions with the greatest impacts expected across the Snake Plain and eastern Magic Valley. May have to contend with some blowing dust with this as well. And then elsewhere, just breezy across the region with a few rain and snow showers in some of the mountain areas. So I want to throw up a current radar image, and here's where we'll talk about this morning. You can see right now, as of at least about 5 a.m., a whole corridor, just like we were expecting, this corridor of light to moderate snowfall has developed from near Burley in the Raft River region right up the Snake Plain corridor up into the upper Snake Highlands and Fremont and Teton counties. It's actually some additional snowfall that's being overshot by the radar here up toward Island Park, over toward Driggs, and along the Wyoming border. So it's actually a little more filled in than it appears. So the big question this morning is, how long is this going to last, and will it be able to create slick roadways? We are already seeing slick conditions on the highways as of 5 a.m. up here from near St. Anthony north and east. So particularly Fremont County and Teton County, seeing a little bit of light accumulation up there. So there's probably some slick conditions already in place. But with those marginal temperatures, so far we're predominantly wet down most of the rest of this corridor in the Snake Plain. High-res models are pretty progressive on shifting this entire zone of snowfall off to the east as we go through the rest of the morning hours this morning, and also kind of diminishing it a little bit. So the period to watch is from now through about 10 a.m. If we can keep this snowfall going at pretty good rates over the Snake Plain between now and 10 a.m. It's going to give us our best shot to see a little bit of slushy or wet accumulation and maybe some slick conditions on some of those roadways right down to valley floors, right down into the Snake Plain. So be prepared for that as you're heading out this morning. Certainly, if this area shifts off to the east a little quicker or the snowfall rates just don't stay very moderate, they kind of get lighter, the roads are generally going to lean in the wet direction with surface temperatures just a few degrees either side of freezing and roadway temperatures extremely marginal as well. So that's our setup here over the next few hours this morning. Again, just be on the safe side. Be prepared for a few slick spots out there. I'd expect generally about a half an inch of accumulation to maybe as much as 2 inches of wet accumulation out there, even into the Snake Plain. Certainly not going to see that much sticking to roadways, but don't be surprised to see some of those conditions on secondary surfaces or grassy areas. Precipitation should be out of the Snake Plain by late morning, and also temperatures will start to increase, so we'll melt off whatever is out there. And then over here in the eastern highlands, this corridor east of I-15, expect some lingering snow showers into this afternoon before we wrap everything up by late afternoon today. High temperatures out there, holding a little cooler, of course, certainly compared to what we saw over the weekend, generally getting up into the 40s to mid-50s, depending on where you're located. Dry. Really nice conditions on Wednesday with high pressure in control, plenty of sunshine. We'll recover those temperatures just a little bit. Everybody just about getting into the 50s, and we'll see mid to upper 60s sneaking back into the eastern Magic Valley, places like Burley and Twin Falls, and some lower 60s working up into the Pocatello and Blackfoot area. Maybe 60 for Arco as well on Wednesday. Thursday, we're going to take just a few degrees off because we do have system number 2 coming through the region, again with some rain, snow showers, and some windy conditions. Here's a look at those winds. So over here on the left, we have sustained wind values, and you can see our usual corridor is lit up here, right up the eastern Magic Valley and Snake Plain. Sustained values of 25 to 35 miles per hour out of the west-southwest. This will be predominantly during the afternoon and evening. And then over here on the right, wind gusts. You can see that same corridor, 35 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts are expected. Elsewhere across the region, values are a little lower, generally sustained at about 15 to 25 miles an hour with gusts up to 30 or 40 miles per hour across the rest of southeast Idaho. So again, afternoon and evening are favored here. Not getting up to values high enough where we're terribly concerned about a lot of tree or power line damage, but kind of looking at an advisory level scenario as far as our products go. So blowing dust may be an issue out there that we're going to have to contend with this on Thursday, and maybe some difficult driving conditions for high-profile vehicles, particularly on north-south highways across the region. Friday, another one-day break between systems, and you can see temperatures generally in the 50s to low 60s. We're not seeing getting back to 70 degrees here for a little while, so for those looking for that taste of spring to come back into the air, going to have to wait just a little bit longer on that. Saturday, similar story. Highs getting up to about 50 to 60 across southeast Idaho during the day. And again, system number 3 is arriving with a few more rain and snow showers for the mountains and more wind. So here's a very early look. This one, I'll caution you, this forecast may trend higher or lower in the days ahead, but very early look at some of the winds we're expecting on Saturday. Very similar to Thursday's system with speeds about 25 to 35 miles per hour sustained, generally out of the west-southwest here in the Snake Plain and eastern Magic Valley, a little bit lighter as you head into the mountains. And then over here on the right, wind gusts, again, getting up there 35, 45 miles per hour. As a very early look. So once again, blowing dust may be a concern out there. Some difficult driving for high-profile vehicles. For the most part, again, it's not looking like a warning level event with big issues with trees down or power lines down. But again, we'll caution you, we're certainly several days out from this, and the forecast could certainly trend in either direction. So there's your 3 storms, and I highlighted the keywords here. Snow is the big story for today, but for Thursday's system, Saturday's system, wind is looking like the greatest impact that we're going to have to contend with across southeast Idaho. That's it for your hazard briefing this morning. As always, contact information's here on the screen. Feel free to reach out, get your forecast anytime for any location across the region at weather.gov/Pocatello, and have a safe Tuesday.